Hello everyone, Railgan here, and today we're going to look at a game where I try to bust the Great Wall of China, as this guy walls off the entire map with siege tanks, ghosts, planetaries and ghosts. To start off, we're gonna start at the very start of the game though. We'll see how we get all the way over there and how I will try to bust him. I start with my classic 16 pool, 18 hatch, 17 gas opener. You might already know this from the free roach opener. I'm going through the early game a little bit quicker because it's not that interesting. I built a roach warren after I had 19 drones in my main. The 20th drone built a roach warren, and I also built an overlord slightly before the roach warren. Just droning at home. The first queen I made after the inject immediately went to spread creep, was able to snipe the reaper. Overlords are in position and I don't really see too much besides a marine patrolling, so I'm just kind of relaxing. At home I went for a quick lair into quadruple gas for a spire play. There goes the spire. Also have a roach warren ready. I didn't build any roaches yet. He did scout the roach warren, so I assumed that he would build a bunker, which he did, and he also went for a siege tank. At this point in the game I had to make 3 roaches because I'm a little bit scared of potential Hellions. He decides not to go for any, and I sent my roaches across the map to get some scouting intel. I luckily noticed that he's getting a fur base. In fact, we kind of glanced over this, but at the 4-minute 20 mark my overseer flies in after I built the lair, and I scout the triple CC opener. So I thought maybe I can get a little bit of damage done while my spire is building. I also go for the double evolution chamber immediately, knowing that I won't have to deal with a very quick push as he's going for a 3cc opener, so I have a little bit of time on my hands. My roaches got an SV and a marine, they're nothing too scary, and then my mutalisks are already flying in, getting kills wherever they can. My opponent is kind of ready because he did scout the spire with a scan, but so far so good. Couple kills here and there. Nothing game ending is happening here. Almost lost the mutalisk. At home I'm getting my range upgrades because I want to stick to a roach style. I finished my roach speed. My third base is saturated. I'm up about 10 workers right now, and I'm going to have to get ready for a 4th base. In this game my opponent will keep going bio until he eventually transitions into a more tank heavy composition as his gas count rises. That's that sensor tower ready, and I'm building a Nidus swarm because I noticed that this overseer might give me the possibility to Nidus my opponent. 4th hatchery is almost done. Creep spread is decent, could be better, but I'm trying. I'm not sure, like, he killed that sensor tower with his tanks, I think, because mutalisks don't do that much damage. I think he misclicked accidentally. But sensor towers are annoying because they of course give him a lot of intel. I'm also getting bailing speed this game, something I don't always do, but something I decided to do this game. He spots the Nidus, he sees my lings, my roaches, morphing a couple bailings in the main as I'm scared of him pushing across the map. And well, that is what happens very soon thereafter. My mutalisks are going in, they won't do too much here. Trying to spread out, buy a little bit of time. He's sieged very offensively. I'm trying to get some Nidus swarms down on his side of the map. Maybe distract him a little bit. But I don't fully manage to do so. If you look at it from his point of view, he's pretty much ignoring the Nidus swarm. But here comes my surround from 2 sides. I A-move my units and then move command the banelings towards his bio. And just generally try to get closer on top of him, and I'm able to nicely clean him up here. With as we both have the 1-1 upgrades. Going to speed this up a little bit. I'm not able to do too much damage to him here. I'm trying to, I think I get that 1 tank. Not even. Yeah, there goes the bias. But I'm just not able to do too much damage. That trade was actually kind of bad for me because his 2-2 upgrades are already done and mine were slightly behind because of my 2 base opener. But yeah, because I went for the fast spire, of course. At this point, I'm still trying to get some cutesy stuff done with my overseer. He manages to cancel the space, I think. No, not quite. I'm starting to incorporate corruptors in my army. I think I'm going for 6 corruptors total or 7. Let me check. 4 actually, only for the start. I thought I built more. Yeah, that those Marines are a bit annoying. But the Corruptors helped me deal with his Medivacs, because I don't really have anything else I can kill Medivacs after my Mutas died. So we are now entering the game, the part of the game where my opponent tries to harass me while he is building up his next big push. I got my Ultralisk Cavern already on the way, and I'm also getting my melee upgrades, my adrenal glands upgrades. I'm kind of slow on the 3-3 upgrade. I think I could have afforded it. And here, a little thing that I did, I sent changelings into his main, plant the Nidus Worm. So I'm trying to distract him over here while the Nidus is going up, so he has to pay attention and micro here. I'm just fighting him with my Banelings and Ravagers, and all my Roaches are unloading in his main base. Because of that, he's not able to push over here efficiently. Like, there's a lot of Roach in his main, and the Roaches are very nicely upgraded, even with the Marines, and it makes it kind of hard for him to clean that up. Then he unsieged at the front, and the moment he unsieged, I kept poking in to try and find it. I'm able to get a decent engagement on him here and push him a little bit deep, trying to get some Baneling connections, cleaning up a couple of tanks. He eventually cleans up the main base soonish. I kind of missed micro there a bit as I was F2A moving, F2 move commanding more so. Lost a couple Ravagers there to miss micro. And at this point it's starting to get a bit tougher for me to to engage into him due to all his tanks. So taking the gases at his 4th base and checking like, oh no, there's not that much I can do. I keep trying to Nidus him. He actually mules the Nidus. Not quite sure what that was, what the point of that thing was. And now, after I traded away all my Roaches, I'm trying to transition to Ultralisks, like an Ultra Lingbane Viper composition, so I can play the mid game efficiently. I'm going to speed this up a little bit, because as you can tell, the game is quite long. My opponent is setting up very defensive here with missile turrets against the Vipers, and with his Spire he actually gets a Viper there. I could have maybe tried to pressure over here, but there's 5 tanks. It's very hard to get engaged there. There's 4 tanks here. He is very defensive. He's trying to build a planetary here that I'm trying to get rid of, and as you can tell, engaging into him here, it just doesn't really get me anywhere. Like, all my Banelings just die. I do a little bit of damage, but it's not really worth it. I remax on Ultralisks anyways, as I'm also droning up heavily, because I felt at this point my goal is to mine everything empty, because there is no way I can bust this, right? I mean, I will eventually need to bust it, but right now, if he's in this defensive of a position, there isn't that much I can do. Cutesy Corruptor stuff doesn't really matter too much. He actually gets the Corruptors, kind of unlucky. Nidus Worm goes down, just a little bit of a distraction, buying a bit of time, maybe causing some confusion. And my opponent is setting up the wall that we saw at the very start of the game. And now it's starting to get tough, right? So this is the only base not taken. I'm up 1 base at the moment, but I can't really engage him here, obviously, into all the tanks. There's a planetary and tanks here, planetary tanks and goes here. So this is a very, very defensive setup that is hard for me to break. The moment I noticed that he's like turtling hard, which admittedly took me a little bit of time to actually notice, I start going for the Greater Spire and another Spire. I was a little bit scared that he would try to drop me. I think he actually did previously, so I have Spores and Spines at my bases to try and zone him out. Also good against Liberators, obviously. I have a lot of Ultralisks, which I'm not too happy about, because the Ultralisks can't really do much against this tank Ghost count. I'm running around, killing the missile turrets. I could try to go in there, but the Ghosts, like my Ultralisks, have to walk all the way around to get to the Ghosts, so it's kind of tough. I am trying to transition to Broodlords though, so I'm going for a bit of pressure here. Trading away my Ultralisks, but as you can tell, Ghost Snipe is pain. I lost my overseers, so I figured it's best to run away, because if ghosts cloak and I have no overseers, all my units just explode. I'm good in terms of bank, and I'm now trying to set up over here, moving my spines and spores to this space. Here we're going to have a little bit of a cute fight going on, where my Viper fights against the siege tank. So I abduct the tanks into the spine crawlers. He sets up a new tank, starts shooting again. I abduct the tank into the spine crawler. I get nuked down here, which I admittedly didn't notice. Lost a couple workers there as well. But I don't know, at this point in the game, like, workers aren't that big of a thing anymore. One more abduction on the tank. The spine crawler wins the 1v1 against the tank ever so barely. And I started adding infestors because I noticed that he is starting to build Vikings. And against the ghosts, they can be good as well. The infestors are going to be the key to my victory in this game. I'm once again trying to trade here, just throwing away all my ultralisks, as I realize I still have quite a bit of a bank and I just kind of want to get rid of the ultralisks that I don't need. Starting to add broodlords now. Turned my remaining roaches into ravagers, as ravagers are, well, better than roaches. One more annoying nuke over here, I'm not sure. I think I actually dodged this one. Easy. He's slowly sieging the base over here, where I'm mining his gas. I already mined like 1.5k gas from that base, which is very, very good for me. He's slowly nuking it and pushing it away though. I could have tried to defend it harder, but if he like positions his army here, then it's very hard for me to defend that base without broodlords. I do have broodlords now though. So I noticed that he's throwing away a couple tanks, which kinda made me feel a bit weirded out. And my broodlords are now going for a push on this side as it's losing its defense, trying to get a bit of damage done over there. And of course, at this stage, the Terran decides, well, I'm just gonna move across the map, I guess. And there was a big lull here, and he has now his tree composition. I'm going for a fight here because I noticed that his ghosts are all super clumped up. So I'm throwing fungals on all the ghosts. My infestors are going a little bit too deep. I landed a couple of neurals, which is quite nice. He lost every single ghost that he had. My broodlords are kind of... Well, my broodlords weren't really controlled too well. I was scared of the Vikings, so I pulled the broodlords back. But I think I should have just pushed him harder over here to try and get into a good position. And then I'm able to clean a couple forts here, which is nice for me. And I don't really have anything to deal with the Vikings. Besides queens, my infestors barely have any energy, so I'm not in a good position in that regard. My opponent is mining out though. This is the only base he's currently mining, and he's trying to take that base as well. He is down one base, as I said previously. Had to dodge the nuke there. And here the Vikings come and they actually get a couple kills on my broodlords, which is very unfortunate for me. I'm also starting to starve a bit because my broodlords do cost a lot of money. And I kept losing a huge amount of units, but my opponent is also not really that rich. So a couple more fungals here, keeping the Vikings low, trying to keep my broodlords alive. I'm going a bit too deep here without enough infestor energy. I'm able to clean up this base, which helps me a lot. I'm gonna try to long distance mine there in the future. Ultra distant links, clean up everything over here. As he's down to its last 36 workers, only really mining from this base, which is very close to my creep spread as well. And at this point my goal is to deny the space. I notice that it's not even a planetary, so I go in and I clean up a lot of his workers, which completely opens up him on the right side of the map, where, well, there isn't really too much anymore anyway. So he moves his entire army to the top left, as that is the place he wants to protect. I could have gone for a cleanup in his main at this point in the game, but the opponent eventually had to leave his wall. So the opponent eventually had to leave his wall because his wall went from here to here. My broodlord slowly pushed it down, and he now is outside of his own wall closed off with his entire army, which is a little bit of a weird position. I'm landing a couple nice fungals here. And here we are moving into the game-ending fight. And it's going to be an ending that you might not entirely expect. My units are going in. Neurals land on the tanks and force. His units are out of range to kill my infestors. My queen's pushed in from the side, and I'm able to clean up the entire rest of his army. -1/4, which would have died shortly, as I'm long distance mining from over here. And well, the game is over. Kind of a weird ending, but the neural parasite actually won me this game. Pew pew, pew pew. But yeah, so in this game my opponent played a very defensive wall of style, but he did not incorporate the top left base in his wall. So eventually he did move out, and the moment he moved out, I moved in with my Broodlords to clean up everything over here, like this part of the map. And then he wasn't fortified in this area, and I was able to easily break him. There are different ways to approach this. You could try it with lurkers. In this game I decided to break him with Broodlords, because I'm a big fan of the Broodlord Kappa. And the Broodlord isn't that good because Force and Vikings absolutely destroy it. But with the power of the funnel I was able to get a cheeky win here anyways. So I hope you enjoyed today's game. Thank you all for watching, and I wish you a good time. See you, boys.